10 Incredible Stories from the Set of Harry Potter. The amazing world of Harry Potter is full of magic, mysteries, as well as all sorts of weirdness. This franchise successfully embodied on the screen the product of Joanne Rowling's imagination and became one of the most successful in the history of cinema. The actors and crew have shared many wonderful stories, some very strange indeed. Let's find out some of the most ridiculous stories from the legendary franchise. Bellatrix mutilates people. Photo from multifandom.ru. In life, Helena Bonham Carter is a beautiful person and a phenomenal actress who starred in many legendary films. In Potteriana for her was not more ideal role than Bellatrix Lestrange. But Carter often got so much into the role that she sometimes acted like a real villain. Her enthusiasm was certainly admired by all, but could sometimes go too far, especially when it led to an injury to an actor on set. During the climactic scene of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry and his friends break into the Ministry of Magic thinking they must rescue Sirius Black. It was during this scene that Carter accidentally damaged Louis' eardrum with her wand. "I thought I could use it like a cotton bud and clean his ear," she recalled, "but I demonstrated this sadism too literally." Fortunately, the boy's eardrum healed quickly. Life can be cruel sometimes, no matter how famous you are. Even at the tender age of 10, you can face some pretty harsh realities. Take for example the moment on the set of the first movie when Emma Watson learned that her hamster had passed away. That event alone would have already upset anyone, but imagine still having to go and play your part no matter what. At 10 years old, it was very hard for the young actress. But the resourceful crew found a way to make her loss a little easier. Even at this early stage of filming, the crew had already bonded and become something of a family, supporting these young actors. They held a real hamster funeral. Emma herself told about this event in detail in her speech at the British Artist of the Year Award 2014. "They made a little mahogany coffin for my hamster. It had a velvet lining and a silver plaque on the front, which even had his name engraved on it. It may have been a rather odd award acceptance speech, but it helped show why the British film industry was so special to the girl." Chris Columbus took over directing duties on the first two Harry films and laid the groundwork for the franchise with his faithful adaptation based on the books, as well as assembling an incredible cast and crew, most of whom worked together right up until the last film. But later on, the studio made some changes and the third installment of Prisoner of Azkaban was directed by the already famous director Alfonso Cuarón. Cuarón's style was truly revolutionary for the franchise. His technique would prove so convincing that all other Potter films would follow his creative template. The director changed Harry Potter not only from a technical standpoint, he also helped the young actor grow professionally, with his guidance making Daniel Radcliffe feel much more confident in the role of Harry. One of the unusual things Cuarón had the young actors do was to write an essay about their characters at the beginning of filming to demonstrate his understanding of the personalities. While Radcliffe and Watson eagerly threw themselves into his assignment, Rupert Grint just relaxed and didn't write anything. When it came time to show his essay, Grint came up empty-handed. When asked by Cuarón why he didn't complete the assignment, the guy replied, "I'm Ron Weasley." Ron wouldn't do his homework either. The director liked this answer. He made sure that Rupert has a full understanding of his character. Alfonso Cuarón wasn't the only one behind the major changes to the franchise. Richard Harris, the actor who so successfully portrayed Dumbledore in The Philosopher's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, died and the studio decided to invite Michael Gambon in his place. This great actor managed to bring a little more youthful energy to the role, which Dumbledore demonstrated in the book's Rowling. His joking character was also manifested on the set. Gambon just couldn't resist the opportunity to fool around and prank his young colleagues. One joke was particularly wonderful. It happened during a scene in a large hall, where all the students were in their sleeping bags. Radcliffe asked to put his sleeping bag next to a girl he liked, and Gambon even here could not resist the opportunity to embarrass the young actor. He decided to put a fart in Radcliffe's sleeping bag, which Gambon controlled with a remote control. The whole thing turned into a very comical scene. If you were a famous actor or actress, what would be your first purchase? Many would probably choose a lifetime supply of candy or even a giant pool with a waterslide. Of course, as we get older, our dreams change and we start thinking about more practical things, but definitely not Rupert Grint's. One of his first major purchases was an ice cream van. According to the actor, the van has an ice cream dispenser and he always keeps it filled. Rupert takes great pleasure in driving around the neighborhood and handing out free ice cream to kids. He even brought a van to the set on the last day of filming to hand out ice cream to all the cast and crew members. Early on in the franchise, Alan Rickman revealed that Joanne Rowling told him key details about the character of Professor Snape that enriched and greatly influenced all of his later acting. In an interview, Rickman mentioned this in passing. "If you remember, when I did the first movie, she had only written 3 or 4 books, so nobody but her really knew where the plot was going to go. And it was important to her that I learn more about the story. Truthfully, she gave me just a tiny detail that helped me realize that this role is more ambiguous than one might think." When Rickman passed away in 2016, a fan reached out to Rowling on Twitter to find out what the secret information was. Rowling replied, "I told Alan what was behind the word, always." Rickman constantly used this secret knowledge to his advantage on set, especially with directors. Whenever they asked him to do something, he would state, "Given what I know, I don't think the character would do something like that." Here's another Rickman-related story. He and his colleague Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy, had a particular reputation on set. Specifically, they were always trying to steal some prop. Once I tried to take a copy of The Daily Prophet, because they were 1,000 pieces, admitted Isaacs, in an interview. He got the impression that the director was okay with it. Already later, when he went out the door, security stopped him. And Rickman stole the bank's coins. From that moment on, everyone became more careful about the props.